Hi, and welcome to the show today for Meet Your Trading Experts. My name is Paul Botterill, and it's my great pleasure to have you with us. Welcome along to Meet Your Trading Experts for today, the 22nd of April 2021, and a special guest we do have indeed. Tonight, my guest is Alexis Ho, fundamentalist and hourly wave rider strategy leader, one of the teachers from our IFS, and I guess increasingly well known amongst the traps. I guess partly as a great trader and partly just as a good person, Lexi. Well, nice to have your company. Thanks very much for joining me today.
Hi, Paul. Glad to be here.
So where exactly are you, Lexi?
I'm at Gardens by the Bay.
You're at Gardens? Oh, okay. Sounds lovely.
Yeah, so...
Rightio. Well, look, let's get straight. Thanks for joining us. I know you're really busy today, and I appreciate you coming out and spending some time with us. I really enjoy this part of the show. It's a chance for people to get to know our traders a little bit and to understand a little bit about what makes traders tick and perhaps their background. I'd like to start off with you by talking a little bit about your history and coming through the ranks. You're an elite level swimmer. What can you tell me about that?
Well, I think my mom was an athlete herself, so it really came from there. So when I started swimming, it really was actually I didn't have any choice. My mom's mindset is you either do something, the best you can, or don't do it at all. So
Yeah.
that was the mindset I grew up with, and it applied into my almost everything that I do. And that put me into competitive swimming. I did that for about almost 2 decades, I think, until I was about early 20s before I retired, so-called.
So when you say you did it for 2 decades and retired in the early 20s, that means you started before you were 5.
Yes, I started. My mom threw me in the pool when I was 3. I cried almost every other day until I was 5. And then I think by the time I hit 5 plus, I started to kind of like it. Maybe I got brainwashed. I don't know.
I've got a 3-year-old, and I'm just we take him swimming, and I'm just wondering what he would do if we threw him in the pool. I think there would be some serious sulking for a little while if we were to do that. Look, so you started young. You've swum all your life, and in the early days, I'd like to get this clear, right? My understanding is that you're a Malaysian citizen, but at different times you swum for Singapore and Malaysia, depending on different meetings and those kind of things.
Yeah, correct. Because I was actually born in Singapore, but my parents were Malaysian, so I'm like a little bit of both, I guess. I studied. Okay, that's the safe distancing announcement going on. Sorry.
I hope you're obeying.
Yeah.
I hope you're complying.
Yeah. So what happened was I was actually swimming for about 20 years, I guess, almost. And then I got totally lost track there, but okay. Yeah, swimming for 20 years, and being born in Singapore and studying in Singapore, I'm actually more Singaporean than Malaysian, but having to go back multiple times every year for swim meets, because I think at local and national, or the smaller meets, the ASEAN levels, I could represent Singapore. But when it got to the international levels, I wasn't allowed to because of the citizenship. Yeah, so at that point, it was really the medium to the small meets, I could represent Singapore. The really big ones, I had to go back to Malaysia to qualify.
Fantastic. And when you were swimming, there was a very famous swimmer from Singapore who was a bit better than you.
Yes, Jocelyn Yeo.
Jocelyn Yeo.
Yeah.
And so throughout your career, she was always somebody who was a body length in front as far as swimming results came.
Yeah, I think it was also because both of us are probably the same age, so that means every year I had to swim with her, because if I was just like a year older or a year younger, I'll only meet her every alternate year. So
have you spoken to your mum about that?
Yeah.
And you said, hey mum, if you wanted me to be a swimmer, you could at least tell me at the right time, right? So I didn't have to swim against Jocelyn Yeo.
Yeah. I actually did say that.
Yeah. What's the highest level of swimming you've been to? You swam at our Commonwealth Games, didn't you?
Yes, Commonwealth and Pan Pacific SEA Games.
And what type of swimmer were you?
I started long distance. Then as I grew older, I think I went into the shorter distances. And then I was mainly a 50-meter sprinter and a 100 meters, 150 and 100 meters. So the short distance.
What's your best time for the 50? Were you free stroke?
Free throw, yeah.
What's your best time for the 50 meters?
27 seconds.
That's pretty sharp. It's a little, I mean, it's a long time ago. But when I was a school kid, I was trained by an Olympic gold medalist, and I swam. I trained when I was about 6 or 7 years old for a couple of years for swimming nationals, and yeah, that sounds pretty quick, Alexis. That does sound pretty quick. If you're 27 seconds, is that right?
Yeah.
What's a world record for that? What's a woman's world record for 50-meter sprint?
Well, it's been improving almost every year. I think it should be about 24, 23 now. I mean, it's very close, I think.
Jeepers creepers, they're going quick, aren't they? And when you were swimming, were you about a second away from it?
A little bit more than a second back then. I think I was about like 2 to 3 seconds, but I think in the pool, 2 to 3 seconds is a lot of time.
Yeah, look, it's probably 10 meters, isn't it? Not 10 meters, but it's a fair way. I get that. So from very early, you had sport that forced you to be disciplined and a mother who encouraged you to be disciplined.
Yeah, definitely. I think everything was disciplined in terms of I had an actual daily timetable. So I had what time I eat, what time I sleep, what time I'm allowed to watch TV, which is only like half an hour a day. Yeah, so I had
one of our old traders. Yeah. I remember. I won't say his name. You know who it is straight away. One of our traders had a timetable like that for everything. Everything I think was in there. He had 15 minutes for this. It was insane. Certainly not a New Zealand thing to run schedules like that, but interesting to do. Do you think that the discipline of swimming translated through to your trading? Do you think it gave you an advantage?
I think yes. I think it gave me an edge because once I kind of understood how to utilize the discipline part, then it actually did help. At the beginning, it was difficult because I think the working hard part kind of killed it. I was working really, really hard at trading, but getting nowhere. So it was once I realized the importance of discipline, then I think things really turned around. Like it's not about working hard; it's about the discipline part.
Yeah, look, I realize. So I'm just opening up another version of this on here, so I can keep an eye out for questions, etc. Look, if you're on in the Zoom session, you've got any questions for Alexis, throw them in the chat, and I'll get them to her. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, feel free to put the questions into the chat there, and Mai will watch those for us, and she'll bring those questions to you guys. The whole point of this is to try and make the traders' path of interest, to give you some thoughts on how you can become more successful in this. So I will encourage you guys to answer any questions that you've got. I'm just opening up the chat box on the other computer so I can. It's not really liking whatever I'm doing, that is for sure. Okay, we will push on. So you're a swimmer, you're a good swimmer, and there's an expression I always remember from when I was coaching cricket, and I think sometimes it's the truth of high-level sport that it sounds like you were good enough to know that you weren't quite good enough.
Yeah, sort of.
Most people in the world, right? They would from the 50 meters about 10 seconds slower than you and think they're brilliant. But when you actually get to the high level, you do sometimes work out that the guys right at the right top are just a different physical breed to you, and that no matter how hard you try, they're going to take a lot of beating. So retiring from swimming at 20, retiring at 20 odd sounds really cool, but retiring from swimming left a bit of a void. When you'd have been in the pool, I would imagine 8 to 10 times a week. You'd have been swimming 10, 15 hours a week.
I think I was in the pool about almost 5-ish hours a day, and that's not including gym time. So 5 hours a day, and it's 11 times in the pool. So I only get a half day break on Sunday. So Sunday is just mornings. Other than that, it's twice a day.
I really like that stuff. Look, it's one of those things, Alexis, that I get that it's really hard, but it does create character. The New Zealand rowers, multiple world champions, they put all of their teams on Lake Karapiro on a Friday afternoon, and they start them based on their best time ever for the 2,000 meters, so that everyone starts exactly their PB away from what it would take to finish. So in the last 50 meters, they're all in a line racing for the finish, and the one that wins that race gets the weekend off.
Oh,
and
nice.
the thought of having a bit of a break is pretty cool when you're training that hard. So while you were swimming, you finished at 22. So even while you were swimming, you went to university and did some work on fundamentals.
Yeah. So when I swam all the way till university. It got a little bit harder because I really had to have a really tight schedule. But it was there that I actually majored in economics and finance. So
Yep. Why
yeah,
why
that was.
economics and finance?
Well, initially when I did that was because I thought I don't really like maths. I didn't want to memorize things too hard, so I thought economics is a lot about if you have common sense, economics comes a little bit easier.
You know, that is so the truth, Alexis. If you understand the basics,
Yeah.
economics is just common sense, right? I really like that. I thought I did economics at university for a year before other interests took over for me. But I so economics and so economics is something that didn't want to do maths, you didn't want to do memory, you want something that was common sense. Did you always have a bit of a love for it, or was that not the case at the time? It was just simply something to at university.
I actually wanted to be lazy because I already was so busy. So I just needed something that didn't require too much memorizing and studying, using a little bit more common sense. And I wanted to like have it a little bit easy.
Sounds it sounds lazy. 5 hours a day in the pool. It sounds incredibly lazy. Ainsley's asked me if we can do the same thing for our traders, if they can have the weekend off. And Ainsley, the answer is yes, you definitely can. If you make the most money of all the traders this week, you can have this weekend off. Don't you worry about that. No trading Saturday or Sunday this weekend, Ainsley. You're definitely allowed that. So, Alexis, you went to university in economics. What's the qualification you finished with?
I got a degree in banking. I got a degree in banking and finance, so a bachelor's.
Great. And you actually
Yeah.
went and worked a little while in the banks, right?
Yeah, I was at a bank. I was at a bank for almost like 4 to 5 years. Very, very long hours.
Geez, Lexi, please don't mind me saying this on YouTube, but you look young for the amount of stuff you've done. You know that with the swimming and the degree and the banking, you must have been reasonably busy. Is there anything that when you were doing economics, you look back and think, "Oh, I really love that"? You know, there's some stuff around economics when I was learning. I just thought, "Oh, that's really cool. I really like this part of it." Uh, I always just whenever I'm looking at a lot of things in the world, just understanding how a simple supply and demand curve works, I think gives you a pretty good indication of what might happen in the world. I think it's quite handy for traders to understand how supply and demand, particularly if you're getting into commodities and those kind of things. Was there a part of economics that really appealed to you?
I think I think at first I totally hated it because it didn't make any sense in that sense. It was like, why are we learning stuff like this? But then there was one. I think my second year of uni, they had a trading competition.
Yeah,
Of course, it was fake money, but we were put into teams, and then we had to analyze, the companies and all that, and try to make the most money, and the teams get a cash prize. So I
yeah.
think that was the only time I thought, hey, actually, whatever I was studying kind of started to make sense, the applications of it. So that was when I started to enjoy it a little bit more.
What did you do with the cash prize?
No, I didn't get the cash prize.
Okay, so you were swimming and it's disciplined and it's full on and it's life consuming, right? At that stage, it's really all there is. You
Yeah.
you finish school, you go to university, you do a degree in banking and finance. You head off into the banking world, and you work in the banking world for 5 or 6 years. And what brought you to forex trading?
I think being exposed, I was already trading stocks, and I was trying to pick up options. And I think it really was about trying to explore other assets to find out what is easier or what can I think it's the same. What can help me get rich quicker? I think that's always the first thought when people trade. How do I get rich a bit faster? So that was when I actually found forex, where I think the main thing was being just starting work. You don't have that much money to put it in stocks and stuff. So I thought forex was a cheaper way to try to get more money.
So look, you have a bit of a background in stocks. You're saying you moved into forex. These days, what do you do, Alexis? As a trader, you're trading a bit of hourly wave rider, a bit of daily wave rider, but are you involved in other investing and other trading as well?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I think something that Gary mentioned one of the sessions, I think couple years back, I remember, is you want the money to work for you and you don't want to be working for the money. So what I'm doing now is I do a bit of stocks, I do a bit of options, of course, forex trading for cash flow, and the rest of the time I actually go out and do stuff that I enjoy and
You
stuff.
work in the events. You work in the events field, right? You've got a little business you've set up. when I say little, I don't mean to be condescending, but you've recently set up a business in the event space. You do a bit of that kind of stuff as well, right?
Yeah, it's not quite a business, but it's more like a small group of people that just freelance together. So we have a small, it's like a union kind of. I don't pay them, they don't pay me, but when we get projects, we all, we all pull each other in to create the team that we can work comfortably with, so that
That's what
everything runs smoother.
that's what they sound like to me. They sound like a team. You've got a
Yeah,
team of people you work with in different functions, right? You guys go and try and do the stuff together and share your leads and share your contacts and that kind of stuff, right?
yeah, correct. So I kind of all of us are doing like freelance.
I like that. Okay, so you've started off trading stocks. You come to Forex because entry level is a bit easier because you can leverage. You can make some money a little bit quicker. You've been on that journey. I think one of the things I'd like to. So at the moment, you're still trading some stocks, some options, and some Forex, right?
Yes.
Okay. One thing I'd like to know: are you in any little groups? Do you have some people? Who are the people you stay in touch with?
Well, I stay in touch with people like Lloyd. Lloyd definitely, because we do the Wave Rider together, but he's also more of a friend and a really close trading buddy. But I also trade with Dominic.
Oh,
Dominic,
cool.
Lloyd, yeah. Charlene, James once in a while when James is free.
Yeah. I hear he's got a terrible boss, that guy. Never gets a break. Yeah, look, it's Guru Lloyd. Look, it's one of those great things, isn't it? Lloyd, I don't know how it is, but I think it's so easy to miss Lloyd and to get carried away. And one of the things we tried to do this year, we tried to move on from some of the reputations to people who are just good at trading. And he's a clever dude, isn't he? Just a clever guy.
Yeah, and he's very I think the one thing I love about him, he's very generous. It doesn't matter how good of a trader you are or how bad, he is very generous with his information, and he always tries to help.
Yeah, he's a special guy, and I think one of the things, again, I have this thing I talk about sometimes with the team, and people ask me what my best attribute is. I go, I'm just really lucky, and people always try and make it like that's not the case. But at the end of the day, how Charlene, Alexis, and Sahar found us on the same course and found each other on the same course, and went on the journey they went on. It's sure, we've helped them along the way, but they had to be there and they had to meet each other and like each other and be prepared to work and be the right personalities for it to match. And it's it's interesting to see those small groups go. So you work with a bit with Lloyd and Dominic, occasionally James. Who was the other one you mentioned?
Charlene once in a while when she's
Yeah.
free, and James, of course. I do see Rick. I mean, I don't think the rest of the traders have met Rick because Rick's really busy as well. But we do trade together as well. Rick, myself, and Lloyd has another little group as well.
That's cool. I like Rick. It's one of those guys that was with us in the early days. Really valuable when we started off. Just helped out. He's just another one of those guys. You look back and he's just a good guy. And he's still trading an account with us. I think he trades his uncle's account as well or something. So still involved, and interesting that you still stay in touch with those guys. And it's one of the things for people that are learning. When we're putting some guys from a program we've just done into small groups, and the first thing they always ask is, can they have one of you guys in their group? And I always go, well, no, you can't, because these guys are kind of busy. But the relationships you start with the people at the same level as you, when you start to succeed, they become increasingly valuable. And that, having someone in the group that just dominates it, you won't become a good trader. It's about the people in those groups sharing knowledge and becoming better traders together, right?
Yeah, I think it was also not as intimidating because it's not like I'm learning from Julian or even from you. I think also that it's a little bit different when you start off with people who are having the same mistakes as you, but we are trying together, and sometimes they make mistakes that we don't see, and we learn from each other in that sense. But if you're trading with, I think if I was trading with people like Julian or even Ash, it's like a little bit, back then I would have been a little bit overwhelmed, I guess.
Yeah, look, I think it's so true, Alexis. And I always find it funny. I guess that I know Julian. Perhaps Ainsley myself would know Julian a bit better than everybody else. But he's such a down-to-earth, relaxed, calm guy. And people have got this little fear of him because he's a institutional trader with a big record. But when you're working with him, he's just another dude you're working with. Yeah, I get it. Ainsley's just saying the same thing, and it is interesting. But at the same time, I do think this thing about finding the right people and finding small groups and working with them is a big part. And we're going to refresh that a little bit in the company and do a little bit more. So look, if you're in the session, if you are on Zoom, if you are in YouTube. If you're on Facebook and you have any questions, put them in the box. Got a few coming in from Ainsley, and we will ask Alexis a little bit more about it as we go through. We're going to give away a prize tonight too, Lexi. Did you agree to the prize? I thought you did.
Yes, I do agree to the prize.
Fantastic. We're going to give away a prize later on. You guys will love the prize. We're going to give away a half an hour coaching session with Alexis, so you can do a call with Alexis and spend some time understanding fundamentals, etc. So I guess my next question for you, Alexis, is that you've been through this process at the start, which it's all about discipline, right? And then you go into the bank, and really it's all about rules. When you're working for a bank, it's all about rules, right? You've got to do what they ask you to do. You go into trading. You've got quite a lot of market knowledge because you've been around the economists and the bank. How do you take the fundamental knowledge you have and use it to be a more profitable trader?
I think there was also a journey that happened for this because I would say back then I thought I was pretty good at fundamentals because I kind of understood whatever was happening and all that. But I think the process of changing, applying knowledge into actual money, that took a long time to kind of figure out, because I think there is a misconception where you can be really smart and really knowledgeable, but you can't trade quite well. I think it's a big difference, because just because I'm really good at fundamentals doesn't mean I can make money. And that was what I found out the hard way the first couple of years.
Look, it'd be interesting for you, Alexis, to comment on this. And I know you went through some bad times in the early days of your trading, but my experience is that fundamentalists, people who really understand fundamentals, they get into positions far too early. They know what's going to come and they start building these positions. Instead of building a position, they take a position. So instead of going, well, I think this is going to happen and over the next 6 months it'll happen, and they start with a small position and they slowly grow a position to take advantage of it as it unfolds, they just go banging with a position. Then nothing happens for 6 months. They get stopped out. Fundamentalists get in early, right?
Yeah, and I think the early days, I think that was really frustrating for me because I'm not a very patient person. So, and it frustrates me that I was like, hey, I'm in the right direction, but why do I get stopped out? So I get stopped out and then it goes, and then I'm not in the one where it goes. And then it happened over and over again, and I got really, really frustrated because I could see that my direction was right. I mean, technically, if you think about it, it's 50%, right? It's either up or down, right? But it was really frustrating that I've always stopped out before even went forward.
Yeah, this random market stuff we're talking about is starting to take hold, isn't it? I really like the random market stuff, and the fact that, one of the things we say is that if you believe in random markets, you can break even doing random things. Then if you're not making money, then what you're doing is the opposite of an edge. It's an anti-edge. And it's interesting to see some of the stuff we're doing. When you really put it up against that test, it doesn't look quite as good as you'd like it to be. So you're a fundamentalist, and so I'm still not quite sure that you've answered my question. So in the early days, it was a real struggle. But for instance, now you were talking about a correlation between the yuan and the Aussie dollar recently. How do you use this fundamental knowledge? Do you look for a fundamental angle and slowly build a position? Do you look for a fundamental position and only trade the wave rider in the direction that you're doing? How do you use the fundamental information to make some money?
I think what was pretty valuable, what I've learned about it, I think even from Gordon's class on the trading personality, I think that kind of switched on a light bulb in my head, like, oh, so that's why I behave the way I do. So what happens is, since I know I'm that kind of personality, and I will position myself with very strict rules when I'm taking a trade, so that, for example, if I think the Aussie is going long, based on a fundamental bias, of course, I'll be waiting for fundamental entry, and that's based on the strategy, right? But the moment I find in opposite direction and it follows a shorter time frame strategy, I'll take that too. But I'm very comfortable taking the profit at 1 is to less than 1, or 1 is to 1. But it's most of the time is 1 is to less than 1. Where previously, if I didn't understand this, I kept trying to wait for more money before I took the profit. Then I got break even or less, so that was frustrating the hell out of me. But I think with the fundamental bias and understanding my personality together, I could actually be really comfortable now that I'm out at 1 is to 1 is to 0.5, because I kind of know it's going there anyway. And I think the charts suddenly got a lot clearer as well in terms of where are my exit points.
Look, Alexis, you know that we've adopted this stuff and we've used it in the course we did on the weekend that you helped speak on. But the 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 uh, the personality stuff is like turning a light on, right? When you actually work out what kind of personality you are and you start acting in alignment with it, it changes your world, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I think what I was always trying to do is I was always trying to trade like Lloyd. Like, now that I've got it, I was trying to trade like Lloyd and get that more percent per trade. But I guess because my personality doesn't do it that way, my aim instead became trade my personality. I just take more trades, take less than Lloyd, but I'll still get there. It's just that it's a different system, I would say.
Yeah, look, I'm keen to talk a little bit about what you talked about earlier about the system, but I want to come back to it. I was in a chat with Lloyd yesterday where someone asked him what trading personality was, and he said he was a Jaguar. And we only teach the three: hunting dog, falcon, and Jaguar. But I'm pretty sure that Lloyd is a polar bear. He's the next step up from the Jaguar as far as what he's looking for really. And you are the hunting dog, right? You're looking for small regular meals, right?
And when we actually took Gordon's test, I was actually the dragonfly, so I'm at the polar opposite of
Oh,
Lloyd. So that was what was killing me actually.
Look, I like we said a few minutes ago. I want to see if I can just get it clear to make sure it was clear what I understood from that. You said that, like for instance, on the Aussie, you could be fundamentally long, but you might see a price action set up short. And if I got it right, you'll let the fundamental position just unfold. And if you take some big winners on that, you're okay. But the long position on that, you'll just take it and let it go. But if you see a short, you'll take a short and you'll take some money on the short quickly, and then you'll let the fund. So you're quite happy to be on both sides of the markets at the same time, one with a long-term goal, one with a shorter-term goal.
Yeah, I think with the understanding as well, you kind of know where to put your stop losses. Like, I'm not talking about shifting stop losses, but when you, for example, the longer fundamental bias is normally a medium to long-term trade, which is like something like the daily wave rather. So that allows a lot more breathing room. And when I trade the hourly, I'm very comfortable going against the hourly, and usually what happens is the moment I exit the other way, I'm really waiting for that candle to tell me it's going back up. So I think it's just being really clear of the trading rules. Like if I'm trading the H1, the setup has to really follow the strategy rules. If it's not, I cannot take it. So yeah, it's just like that.
Cool. And with the hourly wave rider, when we talk about high reward to risk trading, really you're looking to get in, get out, and bank your money, right?
Yeah, correct.
I like it. Look, I think it's one of the things that it's really hard to explain this to somebody who's learning to trade, right? Is that it's got dark quickly over there, Lexi.
Yeah, so I'm sitting here like I wanted to show you the sculpture nearer to the end of this session. It's like a sneak peek because you have to get a ticket to come in here. So I was going to flash. We just lighted it up. That's why I came here.
I've done the gardens by the Bay Walk. It's a couple of years ago now, but I'm keen to have a look at the statue at the end. We'll see if we can do that.
Yeah.
So look, if I've got this right, we talked about trading approach and trading strategies. And it's a really hard thing to tell somebody is that, and people don't get it, and I understand why they don't get it because it's not intuitively correct, right? That I can give you the most amazingly profitable strategy in the world, but you can't trade it unless it's the right strategy for you. You're better to come over here and trade a strategy that's the right strategy for you and make a little bit less money more slowly because you'll be able to do this for the rest of your life. And you'll be able to do this for about 3 weeks before you have a mental breakdown. And that people just don't understand that that's actually more important than the strategy. Lining up with who you are and understanding who you are. I like what you're doing actually because there is an element of long-term and short-term in it, bigger winners, lesser winners. I like all of that stuff. But what I really like is the clarity about it. I'm doing this for this and I'm doing this for this. And I think one of the things that good traders do is they have that kind of clarity over a period of time,
Yeah, I think that was also, I think it comes with probably the team you put together where, there's so many different styles of traders and everybody just pitches in to kind of figure it out together. So I think it does help. And, eventually, of course, having had someone to tell me to just trade my way and not Lloyd's way does help as well.
Yeah, look, it's one of those great things, isn't it? And this is one of the things where I think we've got to be really careful that we're not contradictory, right? But Lloyd's awesome and he's generous and he's giving. And if you want to have a conversation, Lloyd and Ash are the two guys where if you've got any random thing you want to talk about, in fact, when they were talking about correlations the other day, some interesting stuff came out of that. We saw Lloyd's show on YouTube on Tuesday night when we talked about using correlations for reversals. And honestly, I thought it was fascinating. He's great stuff. But while you can use these people for sounding boards and you can use these people for inspiration, you've then got to go and put this into the market in your own way to have it succeed. You can't do it in their way, right?
Yeah. Also, I think if you have somebody to talk stuff out with, I think it really does help. But it is more of I think probably motivation is one where if I didn't have a person like Lloyd, I might not have lasted that long, because it's a bit different when you're doing it all by yourself and we're having just somebody to have a chat with once in a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that. Sometimes when you're sitting around with traders having a chat and you say, you won't believe what I did last week, and we all start laughing about the fact you've done something incredibly stupid, and it just lets it go. All traders make mistakes, and all traders, Bali. Yeah, look, Bali's great. This ability just to, I really like that ability sometimes just to not take it too seriously. We all make mistakes, and sometimes you can really easily beat yourself up about it. But if you can have some people who can just make light of it and move on, I think sometimes it's part of that for trading as well. The real key, and I think, look, if you're listening to this, if you want something to take away, the real key is to get it wrong, learn it, and get it right. There's no need to get it wrong, say you're going to learn it, get it wrong again, say you're going to improve, get it wrong again, do the same thing again, get it wrong again, do the same thing again. I think you really do need to have a real thing in trading where you can get it wrong and not take it too seriously, but you do need to get it right if you want to make some money. What's your favorite thing about being a trader?
Being able to do other stuff, not having to go to the office.
I really like that.
Being able to wake up at 11 in the morning.
Yeah, look, it'd be interesting, Alexis. I think you're very good at a lot of things, and we certainly love having you on the team. But I'm not sure how long you could keep a job where you had to be at work at 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
I'm not sure you'd make that every day by any stretch at all. So setting your own hours, living your own lifestyle, they're the things that really appeal about being a trader, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it does give you way more. I think it changes. I don't want to be really cliche and say it really changes the way you view the world, because coming from a job that's 9 to 6, it's very tunnel, because that's all you know, your job, paycheck, and then the home, and it's very. I don't know how to say, but the view of the world is very narrow. But the moment you suddenly got all this free time, it changes a lot of things. The way you see, it's like the way you even see time, the way you see, relationships with other people. I think having time changes the perception. It sounds very cliche, but it's really, you have time to see other things, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's really fair, Alexis. If you're working, 9 till 6, which really means you're leaving home at 7 and getting home at 8, your focus 5 days a week is on very little, but your job. And I think in some ways, Lexi, one of the toughest parts about not doing that is sometimes when you first start changing that stuff is dealing with what to do with the free time. And it freaks you out a little bit when you wake up one day and go, well, I've got nothing to do today, so I can go and have an adventure, or I can do nothing. And it takes a while to get used to having the free time and doing what you want to do with it, right?
That's actually very true, because I think the moment I started having free time, I think my trading got more shaky a little bit, because then I had all this time to sit in front of the computer, so I was trying to do more. So it kind of like threw me off a little bit.
Yeah, I really get that. I think that it's one of the things that any change in routine for trading often gives you some problems you don't really want. So look, you're trading the hourly wave rider. Have you traded any other Forex strategies?
Yes. My staple, as in my usual, is usually the hourly, sometimes hourly and daily when I'm a bit busy. But what I also am trading is reversals.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's a daily reversal, but entry taken on an hourly, so that it gives a bit more. They're a bit rarer to find, but I'm always keeping an eye out for that, because those are the 1:8s and 9s and 10s or more. If I'm not, if I can sit through my dragonfly feelings, I can usually hit a little bit more.
That's are you trading basically in the strategy I talked about in Bali with the time frame confirmation bounces?
It's a sort of it. I'm using Julian's RSI tool.
Oh, cool. Great. Okay, thank you. Okay, Rightio, if you have any questions for Alexis, please throw them in the box and let me know, and we will get them to Alexis. Did post some pictures from one of the early Bali retreats on my Facebook today. Actually, while I'm talking about Facebook, if you are interested in doing some trading stuff, we're starting a new competition on Sunday. I think it'll hit the Facebook, where each day you can try and pick the closing price of euro for the week, euro dollar on a Fusion demo account, and the person who gets closest each will win a prize. I think in the first week we're giving away $50 Actions to Wealth voucher. We're going to be giving away various products. So each week, and what's more, you're allowed to have one guess every day apart from Friday, because Friday's getting too close. So you can have a guess Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and the person who gets closest to the price wins the prize at the end of the week. So go to the Actions to Wealth Facebook page. We're putting it up on Sunday afternoon, so that'll be up through there if you want to have a look at that stuff as well. Anything going on fundamentally at the moment you're keeping an eye on, Alexis?
Well, I'm still really focusing on the Aussie over a medium to long term. I'm about a week before my exhibition starts, so I haven't really been looking at fundamentals for the last week. I've really been doing a lot of just waking up, taking the daily trade, and then off to, and then that's it. So I haven't really been keeping very much up to date, just following the routine.
So one of the things, Alexis, where with what you do, there's an ability with trading to push out and do other stuff and focus on that for a while, then come back to the markets, do a little bit of this, do a little bit of that, do a bit of travel as you choose to do it, and divide your time up in terms of how much you want to focus on the market and how much you want to spend trading the market, right?
Yeah, correct. And I also think that over time, once you learn, I think a lot of people who like myself enjoy the short time frames. I think when life starts to get busy, it's very common to, when you're in front of the computer, you want to take a trade, especially on a shorter time frame, right? But a lot of times those trades aren't the right ones because you only have limited time in front of the computer. So when you sit down, you want to go in.
Yeah.
You feel you're busy and you want to trade on a short time frame. You might want to reconsider that. So I think understanding that helps, because when I sit down, I'm just looking for daily trades, knowing that I don't have time to do it at each one. So it helps to know what strategy to trade and not to trade.
That's one of the strangest mindsets in trading, isn't it? That mindset of, look, I've turned my charts on, so the market will provide me a great opportunity right now. And it's just not the way it works, right? You do have to have the time to wait and find the best ones. If you had one piece of advice for somebody new to trading, Lexi, what would it be?
I think my one piece of advice is to be really honest with yourself. I think a lot of times we try to deceive ourselves into thinking what we are. Like I've tried to deceive myself. I was a jaguar, but I'm not. So I think that is really painful because it takes a lot longer. But if you can just look at yourself and accept honestly who you are, the kind of trader you are, and what you really want out of it, and these are the things that you usually don't tell people. I think that's where you will find something will change.
Yeah, I think it's, I mean, it's in a supportive way for different people, but I think what our attitudes to money is probably one of the places where people mislead ourselves the most. We want to believe we're a certain way around money when money is really involved. We're often not quite the way we'd like to be or the way we'd like to think we are. Okay, so I guess a couple more questions from me. In the last few years, so you've been trading with us for, how long have you been with us, Lexi?
2015 till now, I think 6.5 years, I guess.
6.5 years. So I've been with us for a long time, and you've traded, you've become a strategy leader. Recently, you've started talking on stage or talking at the online events for us, sometimes doing financial psychology, sometimes teaching. What's your favorite part of all that stuff?
I think my favorite part is seeing the new traders join us as a part. I mean, like doing something, like actually making it. I think the possibilities, like over the years, I've seen people like Pengni, I've seen people like even Sui, join us, and things have changed. And I think the growth in our traders is really cool because it just shows that it's actually possible. Yeah, so the possibility still amazes me, I think, until now.
Do you think there's one thing that sets apart the people that succeed from the people that struggle?
I think definitely, because I think the people that succeed, they are very open-minded, and I think it's the attitude. The attitude is very different. because you can be the smartest person in the world, but if your attitude's not quite there, it is really hard to learn, because you don't want to listen to anybody except yourself. But I think if the attitude's there, the possibilities are limitless.
Cheers, Lexi. Interesting stuff. I think it's really really valid too. Obviously I think a little bit about the people that succeed and what they've got in common and how we can grow that within that. But I do think one of the most common things that happens in trading is that people who are really intelligent, clever people, they turn up in trading and think they'll succeed at that because they've succeeded at everything. And truthfully, it takes more than having succeeded in other stuff to succeed at trading. You really do need to be prepared to just work away at it. I say it all the time, right? Trading's simple, not easy, and you've got to win the internal battle, right? If you can win the internal battle, you can win at trading, but the internal battle takes a while to get the hang of. Look, I would like to do the prize draw now. We're going to get Mai to ring the circle, to run the circle, to start the circle, to run the circle of success, where we click that and we give away half an hour of coaching one-to-one with you, Lexi. We'll come back after we've done that. See if there's any questions for you and let you get back to wandering around. Let's see who's going to be the winner today. Righty-o, Mai, let's click it and find out. Right, you got to be in the room to win the prize. Crystal will win it today, I reckon. Gibson will win it today. Gibson will win it today. That seemed quite slow for running around today. Gibson, if you're in the room, can you get to the chat? You've got 15 seconds to get to the chat and to let me know that you are here, Gibson. And if you can do that, if you can post in the chat that you are here, then you will win the prize. And if you can't come in and let us know that you are here, Gibson, then fantastic. Gibson, you are the winner. And Mai, who's in the room helping us out today, she'll pass your details on to James. As Alexis said earlier, James is hardworking and has a miserable boss and he gets no time off. So he's back at work on Tuesday. So he won't be in touch tomorrow on Monday because he is away having a short break. We worked last weekend all the way through. But he will, James will be in touch with you Tuesday or Wednesday next week, and we'll sort out a time for you to have a one-to-one coaching session with Alexis. Congratulations on winning that, Gibson. It's one of those prizes where we won't structure what you can talk to her about. If you want to have a chat with her about fundamentals or markets, whatever you want, you will get a huge amount out of that half hour. Look, if you've got any questions, if you've got any questions for Alexis, throw them in the questions box and let me know, and I will ask her them. And then we will let her get back to what she was doing. Gosh, it's got dark there quickly, Lexi. In my mind, Singapore always gets dark quite slowly, but since we've started talking, it's gone from daylight to nighttime there.
Yeah, it's about 7:45 now here, PM.
Gosh, I wish it was 7:45 PM here. Rightio, okay. So next question is for someone who is new to fundamentals, where could they source some information?
There are a lot of, I would say there's a lot of information out there, but I think, for someone new, my advice is don't listen too much to the news, because I think the news are designed to get reads and hits and feeds. So whatever headlines that comes out, I think it really is sensational, and it wants to get that, that it wants to get people reading, because the purpose of a newspaper or news coming up is to get the clicks, right? So yep. The best sources are actually not the newspapers. The best sources are actually, I think, maybe the Financial Times is one that's less newsy and less sensationalism. But it's really difficult to say where is the best, because it's really difficult, because I think the news bases are all the same. But I think having someone, I know.
I hope this is not just this is just at my end, because I've got a picture of Lexi, mouth open, pointing a finger at me. Lexi, come back. Come back. I'll just check whether I've got some conversation from her. I have a feeling she has dropped off internet, or that I'm talking to you guys and I have dropped off internet. If I dropped off internet, can you guys let me know, am I here? Am I still here? I like it when I'm here. Looks
Yes,
like
yes,
we
yeah.
have. Cheers, Mike. Thank you. Cheers, guys. Thanks for letting me know. Look, it looks like we've
The best
lost.
source for fundamentals is Sundays.
So what Alexis was saying was the best source for fundamentals was the Sunday fundamental overview that she does for the people on the elite membership. So if you're on the elite membership, or if you're on the mentorship or mastermind, you get to do Paul Hutton doing a market review around, from memory, around 8:30 on a Sunday night. Alexis around 9 o'clock does a fundamental overview. Look, I do like Financial Times as well. I think that's a place you can go and do that stuff. Maybe a bit of Jesse Livermore stuff can be okay as well. Hello. Look, you often take us in the Sunday session to different places. Any of those you want to recommend as well?
Yeah,
Yep.
I think I got excited over there when you asked me where was the best source. I wanted to say it was a Sunday show, and I accidentally clicked the button. Then I kicked myself. Yeah, so it was a Sunday session because I think Julian's take is very packaged. He tells you what it is, and he has the experience to kind of basically cut through the news, the news feeds, and just gives you what's happening. So the Sunday sessions are the best for fundamental people who want to pick up the fundamentals from Julian.
So that's the 5:30 session on Sundays where it's free, right? Yeah, and look, boy, he is. It's one of the things, guys. I don't know how if people get this or not, but you're talking about a 30-year trading veteran who's made billions of dollars, and he does have that ability, doesn't he, to just go, well, da, but forget all that. I'm going short, and you look at him and go, why? And then 50 minutes they go, wow, So I do agree. He's pretty good at it. Financial Times I like as well, Lexi. Anywhere else you go searching?
Sorry, what am I searching?
If you're looking for fundamental data, do you go into Google and search some stuff, or do you have some other places you have a look?
Well, what I do is I use the Financial Times to see what kind of headlines pops out, and then I use Google to see what the other newspapers are. Like whether everything is pretty much the same. That kind of give you a feel of what's the general sentiment, because if you are trading fundamentals, you are trading sentiment, because everybody reads the papers, right, and the headlines.
Yeah, I think that's so true. Look, Lexi, I appreciate you being with us. I get the feeling we're going to have a few problems with connections as we run through this. I do appreciate your time. I might let you go. We might finish a few minutes early today. My guest next week is Ray. He's going to come and talk about COT seasonal data, functionality on the website of ours, and introduce the COT data for Bitcoin. The week after, I've got Julian back to talk about his Professional Traders Club. Lots going on after that. I think I've got somebody lined up for the week after that. So lots of good stuff. Alexis, great to have you. It's a great look for you, Lexi. The light on the face at the night with a big smile. You look great. I hope you are. You look really happy and healthy, Lexi. Everything good?
Yeah. Well, before we go, this is I'm actually walking towards the sculpture. Hang on. Let me see if I can get it in the view. It's very nicely lit. How do I flip my camera? Okay, I'm just going to give a selfie.
Okay.
So there's a...
What's the sculpture of?
It's called the Setting Sun. There's a sculpture here by Dale Chihuly. So I don't know whether you can see it from so far.
Looks like ANSYS loves it as well.
Hang on a minute. Let me get my camera up.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit far from here, but it's a lot nicer. I think it's a lot nicer if I can go a little bit nearer. It's actually. Okay.
Look, you go a little bit nearer, and I'll do a recap. You go a little bit nearer, and I'll talk about something for a couple of minutes while you wander over there. I will take a few seconds here and say, guys, remember the new competition, the Pick the Euro competition on the Action Smith Facebook. Check on that from midday on or Sunday afternoon. That should be up. Do join us as well, guys. Look, there's some great stuff. That stuff with Julian before our show on Sunday evenings. The market update with him as well. Gordon on Monday night. There's clever. Lloyd on Tuesday nights. George is doing some great stuff. Link is doing some great stuff. Jump into that social media. Get onto the Facebook or the YouTube, or come into the sessions and just keep learning. And there's so much amazing. Are you running over there, Lexi?
Yes. Before you finish talking.
Oh, I'm going to keep making some good stuff up. Do stay with us because Lexi's going to show us the thing. Next week will be Ray. The week after will be Julian. Meet Your Trading Experts live and free. Remember, this is free on social media. If you've got some friends that are into trading, let them know. Put them on our channel. Look, we're really committed to that. Is really cool, Lexi. What's that?
It's glass.
Really?
Yeah, it's glass. It's a glass piece.
Really nice. Is the glass different colors, or is there fluid inside of this different colors?
The glass is individually made. Each piece is a different color and a different shape. So it's put together piece by piece.
Well, I got to say, it's one of my goals for the year. Now I'm going to come and have a look at that live. I'm pretty keen to get back to Singapore again this year. I can't wait. I do like the look of that, Lexi, and I'll probably try and go during the day, because us old guys do that sort of stuff. But I'd love to have a look at it. And I've only done gardens, by the way, by the bay once. So I'd like to go back and have another look around that too. It's one of the things when you spend as much time in Singapore as I did. I think you've always got time to catch these things up. And when I've only been back in Singapore once since March last year, and I sort of look back now and wish that I'd eaten a bit more local food, done a few more local things, So I'm looking forward to getting back there and trying to do a little bit of that kind of stuff.
Sounds good. We run for 5 months.
Oh, really cool. So you're this setting sun thing. This is part of what you're doing. Your exhibition that you're doing next week.
Yeah, correct. I mean, once it opens, then I'm more or less like once the setup is done and it's running, then I'm more or less free. Yeah, it's just but it goes on its own for next 5 months.
Really cool. Really cool. Multi-talented team that we do have. Lexi, thank you again very much for your time. For those of you that have joined us today, thank you very much. We'll see you back next week. And look, I say this every time, but remember, stay calm and make good decisions, and it all works out. And that is trading and most other things in life as well. Thank you very much for joining us today, Lexi. Thank you very much. And we'll see you guys all next week or on Sunday. See you guys. I'll be on Sunday at 5:30 for the market update. Jeff's away this week, so I'll be running that. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. See ya. Cheers, Lexi. Thank you very much.